So we've taken a few days for a break, and we're staying in a place just outside York called Griffin Forest. It's late on into the afternoon now, sun's setting, and I thought I'd just make a recording as I'm walking through the woods here. I've no idea what I'm going to say next. I suppose this is the nature of unscripted contemplations, not knowing. The same not knowing that I've been talking about as a way of being in the world. So often we try to know things, and part of that knowledge is wanting to feel safe and secure, wanting to know what's going to happen next, what the future's going to bring. I spoke a little bit about this in my last video on the new year 2022. And how when we enter a new year it makes us focus sometimes on the future and on the past in not always positive ways, sometimes unhelpful ways. But again, back to not knowing what I'm going to say next, not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, being at peace in the moment, being at peace in one's own life, entering this silent mind, embracing the emptiness of being and feeling at ease in that emptiness, and from within that space comes right thought and right action, and then your life unfolds in a natural way rather than in a forced, constricted way of being in the world, where one is constantly trying to make sense of one's life and the future, when one is constantly at odds with what's happening, wanting things to be different to how they are, trying to change things that one can't change, and you're in a constant battle then with what is. Tying back here to some of my earlier videos on acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up and not trying to improve things, but the acceptance of the situation as it is, of one's life, of one's position, of one's situation. Total acceptance of that situation can then give a starting point to move in the right direction, and that direction comes from an inner sense of being and an acceptance that we are that emptiness, that we are that flow of life, that we are the flow, the way, the Tao. And so we might be on a path, and we might have a destination in mind, and we might be eager to see what's round the next corner. We might want to get there sooner than is possible, but actually life happens in each step we take along the path. It doesn't happen at a destination. Life unfolds as we walk it. And we need to be aware in each step we take that that is life, that life happens in the here and now, not in the imagined future. A future that we imagine will be different and won't hold the same problems that we currently face. A life that we imagine that will be problem-free, and that never actually happens. Life is problems. We can only rest in the eternal present and have an acceptance of that. I just had to temporarily halt the recording as I didn't want to video a family who are walking around the corner towards me without their consent. So a slight pause in that recording there. Although I think it had come to a natural conclusion, to be fair. It is back to the eternal present. Each step one takes along the road of life. Each step is where life happens. We meet life in the journey, not in the destination. And the journey isn't always pleasant. It can be full of difficulties and problems that we'd rather not be faced with, but that's the nature of life. There isn't a golden era at the end of our life where we can fall into a perfect state of blissful peace and serenity and fulfillment based on what we've accumulated or the situation that we find ourselves in. This is sometimes what people hope for retirement. They hope their retirement will fulfill them in ways that working doesn't, but that day never comes. Life happens in the journey. Each step that we take, that's where we are alive, with all its problems, difficulties and heartache. And the road ahead needs to be taken and followed, but the end of that road will be what it is in that moment. It's now where we live. It's the eternal present. That's where we are. The beauty of the unknown, the perfection of life unfolding in the moment. And so this is the first video from this 9-day break that we're taking in the forest here, and I plan to make a few more videos over the next few days where we might be out and about or just walking around the forest paths here where we're staying. So I'll speak to you soon.